Okay, g'day everyone. Hello again. Video number 2 from me. Just going to give you another glimpse at some of the many projects I've got ahead of me. And geez, there's some treasures in here now. Pretty much all of these came from my dad's estate. The old man was a huge collector of old toys, specifically Dinky and Corgi toys, but he ended up with pretty much everything. A lot of spot-on toys, micro toys, and then really exotic and rare stuff. A lot of it's gone, but he did collect over the years a pretty large amount of things that he wanted to restore, and he never got around to it. Well, never got around to doing most of them. Just through old age, I suppose, and his arthritis in his hands made things very difficult to work with. So this is pretty much a good chunk of it. I know there's more somewhere, but so much of this stuff is just packed in boxes and I don't know where it is. But so yeah, just a quick look. There's what's it, a Heinz van, I think. Looks like a police car down the bottom. Pre-war Dinky there, the blue car on the left. Military stuff. Bit of an assortment, bit of everything. Looks like an Aston Martin there, the green car. Red Thunderbird. Woolly's Jeep. All the various base plates. Early fire engine, Dinky fire engine. It's like a 58, 9 Chev, 40s American car. Another Studebaker Golden Hawk. Like I mentioned in the other video. A lot of these I've already sandblasted. All the paint off, and just on sandblasting. So I've watched a lot of videos of people in their restorations, and see the various techniques that people use to strip models. I dare say that sandblasting, people probably think sandblasting is the enemy, because it can be quite destructive, obviously, to cars, to models, because it's, these are die cast. It's relatively soft. But, and here's the but, the compound that I've got in my little sandblasting cabinet is actually quite old, and it's been used for a few years now on heavy steel car parts. It's had quite a lot of use, so when you get it, it's quite a sharp little microscopic splinter of stone or whatever it is, grit, and yeah, you wouldn't want to use fresh stuff on some of these things, but I can tell you that this older sandblasting compound, you lose absolutely no detail whatsoever. It picks the tiniest paint fragment out of the tiniest recess in a grill and does absolutely no damage to the model whatsoever. Unfortunately, I don't have my sandblasting cabinet up here where I'm temporarily living, so it's a real shame. So I will have to use paint stripper, which I absolutely detest because it's so messy, takes so long, and I've watched numerous videos, pretty much all of the popular Matchbox restoration guys like Marty and Matchbox Restorations, and you see them on quite a number of occasions. There's, after the model's been stripped, there's still paint, and they're picking away with dental tools. If you did an audit on the amount of time it takes to strip a model using that technique versus a minute or two tops in the in my sandblasting cabinet, you can see why I use that method, because it's just so quick, done. You give the model a wipe down at the end and it's essentially ready for paint. So yeah, that's what I normally use, but I won't be doing that up here where I'm currently living because yeah, as I said, all my tools, my extensive collection of tools is not here. So anyway, this is what's coming. This is what's coming after the previous batch is done. Onto this. So Dad, like a good collector, like all of us, kept everything threw nothing out. And I made sure that I saved as much of this stuff as I could when I went through his estate. So there's all manner of decals from all manner of. He also kept these paper cutouts that I think he was going to use for signs for a model railroad. But he also ordered some replacement decals for the many models that he never got around to restoring. They're for the Regent tanker. I do have the tanker somewhere. It's in another box somewhere, so I don't know where that is. So that's good to have. That might actually be the decal set for that Corgi tanker. I reckon it is. I'll pack that away now. So I think the old man might have done me a solid and saved me a few bucks as well. Because it's not this model. This looks newer. It'll be for another type of tanker. I'll have to find out what that's of. That's interesting. Yeah, if you know what this one's for, let me know. Now this, wow, that's a pretty impressive decal sheet. So if you know what that's off, let me know. Again, good on you, Dad. Fantastic. These decals would all be 20 to 30 years old. Just little bags of tiny little decals. It'll all be for pretty much Dinky toys and what have you. And also plastic kits. Yeah. Bit of railway stuff. Pretty certain that's for a van, a Dinky or a Corgi van. Although that looks like a railway, side of a railway wagon, so I'm not sure. This is definitely railway. U-van billboard sign. Glen Valley T. HO scale. Yeah, here's a lot of railway decals. Royal Mail, Ocean Mails. There you go. No idea what that sheet's for. Yeah. 4mm scale transfers, variety, Royal Mail stuff, and more different colour. These are fascinating me. These are, I think they're electroset. Like you got to rub them onto the model, which is great if you've got a die-cast model that's pretty robust. My memory of these things is always that you've got to sometimes push really hard on them. So looks mainly for street signs, for railway layouts, but some pretty interesting stuff there. Be handy for custom jobs if you wanted to do things a little bit different. You know, again, they're beautiful. I don't know if you can still get them. They're still being made, but I'm sure Woodland Scenics, that's a pretty familiar name in the model railway game, so maybe they are still going. Cavendish product, trade signs. It looks like a paper sheet for railway stuff. Over in the back here, more decals, that looks like. Yeah, that's a mobile set. Just to give you an idea, just how hard it became for the old man. That's his handwriting in his later years, and you know, he could barely hold a pen, the poor bloke, and he was one of the most amazing craftsmen that you would ever meet, with an amazing eye for detail, and how well he could make something, and to see how he ended up in his later life is really sad. But he's gone now. But you know, he's left me with a lot of projects to make, and they'll all be made in his memory. And I pretty much won't be selling anything that I make. I just can't bring myself to do it. So they'll just be made, and they'll go on display. But there's all sorts of stuff. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, spare parts. So yeah, fire engine ladders. That's a ramp for a car transporter, I think, a replica ramp. Heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of tyres. And a lot of them are original tyres. All manner of sizes, and I've tried in colours, and I've tried to keep them all like for like. Now there's some repro rivets. You just pop in the hole. I know that there's a lot of alternatives nowadays, but keep in mind, when Dad got into this, when I first got into restoring these things, this was 25, 30 years ago. So there wasn't much around. So they would have been the ants' pants back in the day. So those Corgi speed wheels, snap-on wheels, or whatever they are. A few different sizes of those getting around too. So yeah, lots of tyres, and grills for the early dinky stuff, and headlights and so on. And again, lots of spare parts. This is axle shaft. And I hate to disappoint Marty from Marty's Matchbox Restorations, but the drill press technique of turning over the ends of the rivets, my old man was doing that back in the 80s. Essentially pretty much exactly the same technique, but he didn't have a big huge nail sticking up out of a piece of wood. I remember watching him do a few, but not much back then. I just know that whatever it wasn't as high as a nail. It was a lot lower, but it was a drill press. and he had pretty fantastic results. A lot of keys for Hornby trains. So like, this is just worth its weight in gold. So I brought all these with me. Essentially I've been moved from home for work, and home has every conceivable tool that a man doing this sort of stuff would need. And it's a typical house with a 6-car garage and you name it, even got an anvil and all the good stuff and all the tools you'd ever need. And I've moved temporarily into a 1-bedroom apartment where I'll set up a plastic table and and restore these things. So that's the challenge. So if you're interested in watching how these things all come about and what I use and how I use it and don't use it and how I restore things and make them look as good or slightly better than how they were made, because I'm not a big fan of changing things. I will do the odd custom model if I've got a duplicate of it. If it does interest you, then please like and subscribe the videos and comment. I'm always open to anything you've got to say, anything you want to add, any tips. I've just ordered my decals for the Morehouse's Jams van. So they're actually coming from France. So that's really good. Can't wait for them to arrive and I'll crack on. Good luck with your restorations.